Hail, double 1/8 set Shadow here. So let's see where we're at with today's market. We're going to be taking a look at some of the different archetypes for Divine Set 7 that's still to come. Starting off with a few more Balsagra support cards, like one of our promo cards, Blaze Maiden Cindy. This one came as a promo as part of the sneak preview for set 13, if I'm not mistaken. And right now, given that it's only got its promo and no reprints right now, this is actually pretty high up there at $30 for its base price and 9 listings at this point. The market price has been increasing pretty heavily ever since November, and it really took off at the end of December. Currently around $25, and when it comes to the available listings, they're pretty solid around 30 and start moving their way up to 35s. There's another one that comes out of Divine Set 4, which is really cheap to pick up, although, and I feel like it's not a bad tech to play. Sealed Blaze Dragon Alpara. This one can revive itself from the drop zone, and in addition to that, I don't remember what else it can do. Let me just take another look. Look at 5 to get a arms, or basically Trick Moon or Fire Lord, basically. But if we take a look at the listings for this one, since it's a double rare, it also has a silver rare and frame rare, but all three of them are basically around $1 or less to pick up, and it's only the frame rare that's actually less than 10 listings available right now. The others still have at least 14 listings available, so no heavy risk of a buyout from the looks of it, especially since the hype on Balsagra has already really taken off. You've got the Dark States original cycler, Lamina, which, in addition to Tizcar, this card is really high up there in value right now. 7 listings on the triple rare, and they're starting from $42, with 3 copies in that particular listing. The market price is still up in terms of its overall trend from back in November. Currently around $32, though it did take a dip around start of January, although it's still leveling off from there. Right now, when it comes to listings, we're looking at 42. We have a number of $42 to $48 listings, and then they start to range all the way from $59 to almost $70 to pick up. We're going to have the bout of the Destined and the Fated Kings this Friday for the anime. So, taking a quick look at the base forms, for starting with Levidrus from Divine Set 4, 22 listings on this one, starting from just over $9 to pick up. Market price on this card is around $11, and the market price has been undulating a lot between the low 11s to the mid $12 range. So it's just not really moving around that much, and the price has stayed relatively stable from 11 to 12. In terms of how the listings are, though, they start as low as below 10 right now, and there are 10 copies at that lowest listing of 922. Then there are a number of copies that are available in the $10 range, so not too difficult to pick up at this point. As for Raziel, this one has 12 listings on its base form from Divine Set 1, starting from $6.50, and market price here is around $6, which is an increase from its low around the beginning of December. It was underneath $4 at that point and spiked up from there. In terms of sells, or in terms of where it's at right now, $6.50 to $7, and we are starting to see more $10 ones hit the market. So it is moving up there, and considering the anime has indicated that it looks like the King Raziel is going to be the way forward for a while, this card is not going to lose play anytime soon. The new February March promos are now available on TCG Player, and 2 of the star ones include the new order cards for Luard and Shiranui. So just taking a quick look at where they are right now. $20 for Luard's Journey to be a Dragon, with 4 listings on the market starting from $20, no sales yet, and all of them are basically $20 to $22. As for Shiranui's, we're starting with $40. There's only 1 listing on the market for this one, and these are just the regular ones. So just keep in mind that there will be foils too, but since the month just started, there should not be too many of these on the market yet. Gradius Gralde, one of our original first Regulus piece for Persona riding, has a number of listings available on the original from set 8, Minerva Rising, that start from underneath $10 and have 27 listings altogether. The ones that come out of the stand-up deck sets for Graham Grace and Favernil are more expensive right now, for about $13 a piece. These ones are not foil though. The one from Minerva Rising is a foil, and it's cheaper. So if you would prefer to have a foil version, Minerva Risings is definitely the better bet due to its lower price. And otherwise, I mean, there are so many Regulus pieces that it has to contend with now, so we're starting to see some effect of that, lowering a few prices for a few of the Regulus pieces. Knight of Piercing Codwalla, which had seen a massive increase during the time that Rezyl Vita had first gotten announced. Now it's kind of stabilized from a range of $10 to $15 for the most part. There's also the original foil from the Koshiba Raika Executor's deck, but there is a foil that you also get from Festival 2023's reprint, which is at $15. And they're both double rare foilings, so there really isn't any reason to pick one over the other, except for the fact that I guess technically the starter deck one is rarer, but it's really all on preference at that point. But if you don't care for foiling, the original from the Raika deck is currently the cheapest on its base listing, and cheaper than the Graham Grace one in terms of market price as well. Grag Ion from Illusionless Strife. This is a rare that works with Rezyl, and it can work with Amaretta as well. Currently $1.40 for its base price, just a bit under its market price. The frame rare dropped off a little on its base price, but it's only got 5 listings starting from $5.50, and the market price there is around $7. While we're still on the topic of the Hyper Lyrical Monasterio, I do want to point out a little demonic method Valfir, which is from Lyrical's Divine Set 1. Right now, the triple rare and the silver rare are about aligned on their base listings, $15 and $16, and the same goes for the market prices. So if you are looking to pick these up, the silver rare is looking a bit more appealing here. As for the double FR, $45 is the base listing there, and the market price there is around $50. A quick talk on effect triggers. Well, with Divine Set 7, we're going to be getting additional reprints of the effect triggers for criticals and draws. Despite that, and despite the number of prints that we have already, they're still pretty solidly priced around $5 for the most part. Aspiring Maiden Alana for Stoicheia, the crit trigger, currently has 8 different printings available, although 2 of them are more high rarity. You have the SIR from Triple Drive and the original SP from Set 3. There are a few different foil variants as well, like from Festival 2023. And otherwise, yeah. At this point, even with another print coming along, I can't imagine this card really going much lower than 3, especially given that despite the fact that we are... It's hard to say. After going to the BCS this past week and looking at the numbers, we're getting a lot of participation despite these price increases on a lot of the cards that we've seen. And ultimately, with Bushiro just not printing too much product, it causes a drive in price, but it's really showing a lot of dedication in the player base, just going around for competitive or even fun play. So even small things like this that continuously get reprinted, Eureka included with the hype that we got with Overdrive, everything is still staying up at a pretty relative price. Then you have the effect front triggers, which are not getting a reprint with Divine Set 7. There's a new variant of effect fronts that's coming with Divine Set 6, but it's different from the one that we have right now, which is the 20k shield. And as an example right now, for Diablos Girls Natalia, this one is actually pretty high up in price for all the listings that are available, and some of them are just completely out of stock too. The lowest price that is listed right now is $8.50 for the original rare from Set 2. Aside from that, it's basically a $10 card across the board. Once you start getting to higher rarities, it gets up to 50, and the SIR is completely out of stock here. And lastly is Light Elemental Pachiri, which is the vanilla Cray Elemental crit trigger base. It's basically an elemental trigger that you can play in any deck, and it's the critical from DivineZ 1. I talked about how this one was definitely going to be... It was definitely going to be one to grab, particularly because of the fact that it can be played in any deck. Kind of like a lot of the Bang Dream ones, and now the Yumino Kesho ones. But in comparison to those, this one is still somewhat cheaper, but it's moving up in price overall. There are 12 listings on this, and it's over $2 to pick up for its base price. The market price since November has been increasing from a base of around $160 to $2 now. And when it comes to availability, there are a good number of copies that are still $2 and under, but after that, it basically rises past $3 and just kind of stays there for the most part on the front page. I mean, there are a lot of choices when it comes to generic critical triggers that you can pick, and Pachiri's not a foil. A lot of the Bang Dream ones are foil, but it really just depends on the artwork and whatever players really prefer. For those who are not into Bang Dream, for instance, this is probably going to be the preference overall. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.